I think we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Pretty sure we're live. And I know we're slightly early, but by the time I finish saying we're slightly early, we'll be just on time. You see how that works? So today is, I can't remember what day it is today. Wait a minute, it's April. How did we get to April? I don't know how we got to April. It's sometime in April. I can't remember.
No, it's still the 30th, Rosemary.
Oh, it's not April? Oh, oh, you're right.
Darn close, though.
It's March the 30th. How about that? It's March the 30th. It'll soon be April. My daughter's birthday is in April. We've got Easter Sunday is April the 9th. So we've got lots of things to look forward to in April. And so here we are. So before we begin, first of all, I'd like to say good morning to Grey Eagle, who, as always, is standing to my right side. And of course, we'd like to say good morning to our great facilitator, Chris. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Rosemary.
So I know that you're not well at the moment. I can hear it in you're all stuffed up, and I hate colds. I hate it. I've not had one for a long time. Let's not. I was going to think. I'm trying to remember when the last time was, but I don't want to remember. So, do we have anybody there yet, or are we too early for people to be logging on?
People are just logging on. Gabriella is saying good morning to everyone.
Okay. Good morning, Gabriella. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit this morning about auras and aura spotting. We were going to do it for the last couple of weeks, but unfortunately, for one reason or another, it's either been the builders banging around, or it's been me with a bad back, or the builders banging around. We've not been that consistent over the last few weeks with our shows, but I know that you all understand, and these things happen, and these things do sometimes get in the way. But this morning, we have no builders. Of course, my pool is as green can be, which is not a good thing. Because the pool company, well, let's not talk about the pool company. We're going to keep it very positive this morning, so we will definitely not talk about the pool company. Oh, anyway, let me see. So, Chris, where are you this morning?
I'm back in Florida after a big long trip to drive up to New Hampshire and Vermont, and then seeing the other son in Maryland and back down again.
Well, that sounds like fun. Was it fun?
If you think that driving 500 miles a day is fun, then yes, it was fun.
Well, you've always thought driving for all those miles a day is fun. You are
Well, that's when we had two of us driving.
Oh, right. Yeah, because you could talk to somebody, you could have somebody else drive from time to time. But I know you've always loved your road trips.
I
So,
do love road trips.
so anyway, all right. So, let's see. Is there anybody there? Any questions that we have, or any comments so far?
No, mostly just hellos. I think Barb said, "Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you again. They've missed you when when we couldn't do the shows." And Rhonda's saying, "Oh, I love the subject of auras."
Good.
Roxana's saying good morning from Peru. Dean's on saying hello to everyone.
Oh, great.
Ava's saying hello. Starlatech, Starla something, I can't even read it. Saying good morning, everyone. Might help if I put on my glasses. So that's it right now in the chat room.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to remind everybody, okay? We love doing these shows. We love that you all um, love that we do these shows, but we do like participation. So once people stop going into the chat room, or stop asking questions or making comments, I'll just consider that you've had enough, and I shall leave. So if you want me to keep going for the full hour this morning, you've got to participate. So if you could do that, I would love that, because part of the fun of doing the show is participating, hearing people's comments, And I want to talk a little bit this morning about auras, aura spotting, um, visualization techniques. It's hard to say that, visualization techniques. And then next week, once we've talked about it today, I'll give you a chance. Any of you who are interested in wanting to learn more, wanting to know more how to do all of those things, then I'm going to just sort of talk generally today about visualization and auras and aura spotting and so on. But then next week, I am going to give you a couple of exercises so that you can try and get yourselves together. I'm going to give you some suggestions of what you might want to do or things that you can do before next week that might prepare you for next week when we are talking about how do we aura spot? Is there such a thing as aura spotting? Well, there's been such a thing as aura spotting in my life. Oh, for so many years, I've just lost count. But a lot of people find visualization helpful for meditation. A lot of people find visualization techniques very helpful for healing, and in fact, I encourage my students to use visualization techniques when we're giving healing. It's very helpful. It helps the healer to feel as if they're doing something. We know that we let go and let God, but at the same time, it's also fun to be able to feel that we're sort of contributing in some way with our energy. And if we're going to be using our energy, how do we use our energy? What can we do to create these visualization techniques that are so important to us in our lives? When we're giving healing to people, it's great to be able to visualize. If you can't visualize the person, if you've never seen a photograph or a picture of the person, if you've never met the person, it's really great. Maybe they'd like to send you a photo or something. We don't bother with that sort of thing because we try to visualize from hearing the person. We're connecting with that God force, that that universal God force that is out there. So that helps us we can receive an image of the person we're giving healing to. But more important, we can sort of visualize, let's say, a tumor, or we can visualize arthritic hands, or we can visualize a rainbow of color around someone as we scatter our energy over them. As we don't really scatter it, do we? We sort of visualize our energy sort of being infused into them. Visualizing rainbows, visualizing colors is important, I think, also in healing, because it helps the healer, but it also helps the patient too. And encouraging the patient to use visualization techniques is also important. So, excuse me, this is a fairly wide subject. So we're talking about auras, we're talking about energy, we're talking about visualization, gosh, all that stuff. And if any of you are still using your pendulum, I thought, that if you would like to send some comments into us via email and just put a pendulum in your subject line, I'm going to be taking questions about that sort of thing. So if you've got questions, this happened to me and I don't know why this happened, or I can't, my pendulum isn't working right, or all the sorts of questions that you might have for the pendulum. If we can gather up some questions for the pendulum people, we can answer those as well. So anyway, so all right, so let's talk about visualization first of all. With my first year students, one of the first exercises I encourage them to do is candle meditation. And it's candle meditation is really easy. It helps you to really understand what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And I think it has to do with the flame of the candle is a live flame, and it's flickering and moving. So if you stare at a light bulb, switched on light bulb. If you stare at a light bulb for long enough, and then you close your eyes, you'll see the image of the light bulb in your mind's eye, right there, right there. Right, what is that there? Oh yes, that is a chakra point. That is an energy center, let's call it. So when you sort of are staring and staring and staring at a light bulb, you can see, when you close your eyes, you can see the light bulb. And actually, the idea is to keep the light bulb there for as long as you possibly can, or the image of the light bulb, or in fact, with candle meditation, you keep the image of the candle. If you stare at a candle for long enough, and then you close your eyes, you'll see the candle. You'll you'll see it flickering, you'll see it moving, you'll see all of that. Whatever the candle is in your mind's eye, nothing else can penetrate. So a lot of people meditate, or they think that they meditate, but they start to meditate on something. It might be a flower, or it might be an image, it might be their power symbol, or whatever it is they start to meditate on. And then thoughts creep in, don't they? What we're going to have for dinner, and wonder how the kids are at school, and you get other thoughts creeping in into your mind. So people might start out meditating, but they end up contemplating, because before you know it, you've gone away from the meditation and you're thinking of all the things in your life that are going on around you. So you might have worries about something, or you might be decorating and thinking, what can I, what color should I have, whatever it is. But if you don't have something here in your mind's eye to block those thoughts, then you're not meditating at all. You are contemplating. So candle meditation is simple, and I tell people, 10-15 minutes is all you need to do at first. You get a candle. Please make sure that it's in a safe holder. Please make sure that it's nowhere that you can cause a fire. Make sure the kids are out of the way. And what you do is you sort of sit down, you light the candle, and you stare at the candle. You focus on the candle. You focus on the candle for so long, close your eyes, and you'll see the image there. As soon as you lose the image, you open your eyes and you focus again on the candle flame. And the idea is to do that often enough and long enough until at some point you will be able to hold the candle flame in your mind's eye for quite a long time. And in fact, if you do it correctly, you will be able to hold the candle flame in your mind's eye at will, and even without the candle. So practice makes perfect. So I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying to you here, but being able to visualize takes practice, and it's not easy. A lot of people say that I can't do that, which is why I say try the candle first, because the candle flame or a light bulb, whatever it is, it's the idea is that you need to have all of your external stuff that's going on. You need to be able to block that out. So you're just focusing on that one thing, the candle flame, the light bulb, whichever you choose. Because at some point, especially for those of you who are healers, or especially for those of you who are sick and need healing, to be able to focus on something and to keep it in your mind's eye, and to keep it there and not let any extra stuff come in to your mind to take you away from what you're doing, so that you can focus properly. If I want to, for instance, focus on a patient, I want to focus on a tumor, I don't want other thoughts, extraneous thoughts coming into my mind. I need to keep my mind free. So the candle, and using the candle flame, is a good start to being able to make sure that you focus and that you hold your focus for as long as you can. As I've said, when you begin these things, 10-15 minutes is more than enough time. And I also advise my students, let's not get carried away. Have an alarm clock, or put your phone on, whatever it is, have an alarm that at 15 minutes rings, and then you quit. However successful you or not successful you've been, you quit on that. You just stop doing it, and then later on, you might want to do it once or twice a day, or you might just want to do it once a day. The next day, whenever it is you're going to do it again, you do the same thing. And you do that until you're able to keep that candle flame, and at will, you can close your eyes without the candle and put that candle flame right there. Once you've achieved that, you can get anything at all in your mind's eye. Sometimes I suggest, if it's spring, or if you live in a country where you've got flowers all year round, cut a flower, stick it in a vase, and focus on the flower. People, or you can even, you don't have to go out in the garden. If you've got a good magazine, you can do the same thing. If you've got, if you have a particular, I don't know, beautiful vase, or any object that you want to focus on, to try this out, to create this ability for you to visualize. What you do is you focus on the thing, close your eyes when you've got it in your mind's eye, okay? For as long as it's there, that's great. When you open your eye, it's gone, you open your eyes and you do it again. The idea is to make your mind not blank, but to make it focus on that one spot, particularly that one thing. I often tell the story of the Buddhist who he lived in wherever, I guess it must be Tibet, right? And he was every morning he would go to the wherever it is, the meditation room, I guess, and he would meditate upon a peach stone. And he became famous, and people started coming from far and wide to see him, because before long you wouldn't just have to wait for him to come in. He got so focused on the peach stone that he was there whenever anybody went. There he was. No one ever saw him eating or drinking. He was just focused on the peach stone, until one day, gosh, it must have taken a while, but until one day, suddenly there was the peach stone, just the peach stone, and no Buddhist priest, no Buddhist monk. And apparently the idea is that he focused so hard and meditated so much on the peach stone that he actually became the peach stone. I don't want any of you to become the candle flame. I don't want you to disappear off into wherever it is. But the idea is that you focus, you learn to focus, you practice, and practice makes perfect. Now, a lot of people come to me, I want to be a healer, I'd like to know more about this, I'd like to know more about that, and I give them exercises. And then, a few days later, they'll come back and this isn't working. I'll say, well, yeah, how often have you done it for? Oh, well, I've only done it twice. Yeah. You will not get results unless you're willing to put in the work. These exercises, these things that I'm going to be teaching you, you have to do them every day. They have to become a part of your life. Otherwise, you're not going to achieve anything. So, you need to think, I don't know, set 10 minutes aside every day to do something. Now, aura spotting is a great thing to do. And when you have learned the art of visualization, and it is an art, and some people do it really easily, and some people have a great deal of difficulty doing it, but practice makes perfect. But once you've mastered the art of being able to focus on something and keep it in your mind's eye for as long as you want, once you've done that, then the art of visualization is yours, and you can apply it to anything at all. And aura spotting is brilliant. So being able to focus on an object, as we talked about the candle, or as we talked about the flower, whatever it is, being able to focus on an object is amazing. Being able to focus on a live object is even more amazing, because there is not one living thing, flower, leaf, as long as it's still on the tree, you understand, there's not one living thing, not one living creature, even a little woodlouse, which is where I saw my first aura. Uh, Even the teeniest of creatures, ants and you name it, every living thing has an energy, is created from energy, and has this energy that sort of, if you are able to focus, you're able to see this energy. And I often send my students out into supermarkets, or I send them out into the woods, or I send them out wherever they want to go, walking in the park or something, and find something that you could focus on. Now, the idea is not to try too hard. When we talk about focus, we imagine, we've got to really grit our teeth. And no, we have to do it slowly. We have to do it easily. We have to trust in ourselves, but we have to be able to look beyond our ordinary vision, and to be able to look beyond our ordinary vision, to be able to see and to understand energy. And another good way to do that is by aura spotting. So you can do this before next week, before we start seriously talking about how we paint our aura and how we use aura painting for our patients as well. You can go out into the park, you can go out into the garden, you can wherever you want, and you can try with a little creature. You can use anything from an ant to a woodlouse to anything at all. Spiders have phenomenal auras. Did I just say that to you? Are some of you going, "Ooh, spiders? Oh, no, no!" But they are fabulous. They have the most fabulous, clear, bright, beautiful auras. They're amazing. Um, of course, I've never seen the aura of a tarantula. I don't know how amazing that would be, but I could imagine that it would be fantastic. But anyway, so aura spotting. A lot of people try aura spotting on their animals. So if you've got a dog or a cat or a parrot or whatever little creature you've got as a pet, you can focus on that. Now, you may not necessarily see a bright, light, white aura. You might see the aura as in it almost, sometimes people see it almost as if steam is coming off of the animal. They see this sort of the wavy, steamy thing coming off, which is the energy. When you focus on that, what you're seeing is the energy of this animal. As you're looking at it, you can see the aura or the energy field that surrounds your pets, your woodlouse, your spider, whatever it is you're going to try it on. But that's just the beginning. So if you are able to see that, don't be disappointed that you're not seeing a color. Don't be disappointed you're not seeing a bright light. Don't be disappointed that you're not seeing this stuff in technicolor, so to speak. This is just the beginning. If you can get to the point where you can see this almost like a grayish mist that's coming off of something, what you're seeing is the energy, the heat and the energy field that is surrounding whichever creature you try to do. Of course, animals, creatures, spiders, the crawlers, as the natives call them, the crawlers, the winged creatures, the two-leggeds and the four-leggeds. The Native Americans would use those phrases to describe what is going on. Once you've tried it on the crawlers and the wingeds and all of that, then of course you can try it on humans. Go to the supermarket, but be careful, because you've got to start this slowly. I know some of you are really eager to do it and just want to go out there and let's see what I can see. But try it first of all. I would always suggest with my students, try it first of all with either a pet, or go into the park, find a butterfly, find a dragonfly, find a little woodlouse. The first time I ever saw an aura, I was not even looking for it. I was not expecting it. And I was sitting by the fire, in my chair by the fire, and there was this sort of little, like a little crevice in the fire. And I suddenly saw this tiny, teeny tiny light, like bright white light. And I'm sort of looking at this light thinking, where is that coming from? And as I'm watching it, it's sort of slowly, very slowly, moving up the side of the fireplace. And then I realized, as I'm looking at it and watching it and wondering what it is, I realized that, you know, just in front of it was a woodlouse uh, climbing up the fireplace. And if the woodlouse stopped, the light stopped. And if the woodlouse moved, the light moved. And I suddenly realized what I was seeing was the aura of the woodlouse. I wasn't looking for it. But what we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks is I want you to go and try, going out and look. There's a fine line between imagination and visualization. Imagination takes you beyond the reasonable limits. We're going to try and stick to visualization. And if you find yourself going off a little bit crazily and you see all sorts of crazy things, you've got to stop, because that's your imagination taking over. Nothing wrong with it, but there's a fine line between imagination and visualization. And what we want you to be able to learn to do is to visualize, so that if someone calls you and says Uncle so and so's sick in the hospital and his back is out or whatever, you can visualize Uncle so and so, and you can have him in your mind's eye, and you can focus on him and focus on what is going on with him. And yes, the next bit, the creating the auras, painting the auras, that's for next week. But it is possible to affect other people's energy with your own energy, negatively and positively, or positively. We want to affect people's energy in a positive way, don't we? We want to go out into the world with a positive aura of our own. How do we do that? Well, we paint our aura. We make sure that we keep our aura as clean and bright and as fresh as we can. We make sure that our energy is up. I went with a friend the other day, and we walked into this place, and the music was playing, and it was dance music, and I just really wanted to dance, but I couldn't dance because my back was out. But inside of me, I was dancing inside of me. I really wanted to dance and to be joyful. And I had to think, you can dance and you can be joyful, just don't move. Just don't twist, don't move, don't start jigging about, because your back will be out for another few days, and we can't have that. So, but we do want to, when we go out and about, we want to be joyful. We want to be able to bring our energy, our positive and joyful energy. We want to bring that out into an area where other people will feel it and feel good feeling it. Remember, it's important to remember, our aura, our energy field, spans several feet beyond us. And I mean that. And when we start to paint our aura, when we start to create this energy and bring color in, it can expand beyond our imagination. But what does that mean? That means that wherever we go, our energy, our aura is touching other people, washing over other people. Likewise, their energy is washing over us. So it's our job, important job, to make sure that, because who knows what other people's energy is like? They could be miserable people. They could be sick. They could be moaning and complaining. They could be, who knows what their energy is like? I don't want other people's energy, negative energy, to infuse into my energy. I don't want their energy to overpower my energy. I don't want, I want to make sure that my energy is going to be good and positive as often and as much as I can. So I have to remember, when I'm out and about, my energy reaches out and touches several feet away from me, but other people's energy can do the same. So I have to make very, very sure that my energy is more powerful and more beautiful and more positive, so that it will remain so, and that anyone's energy that touches me is infused by my energy rather than their energy being infusing me. Does that make sense to you all? I think it should make sense to you all. All right, let's pause for a second because I've been talking now non-stop. Let's pause for a second and see if we have any comments or questions or anything that anybody would like to say so far.
All right, Rhonda says, I have been very mindful of not letting people's negative auras bump into mine.
Well, they will bump into yours, Rhonda, because our aura extends several feet. What you need to make sure is that your energy is as positive as you can make it. The colors of your aura, the types of energy that you put into your aura, that you infuse into your aura, those colors that you're going to infuse into your aura, the energy, the type of energy that you're going to infuse into your aura needs to be such that, you know, someone actually, a friend of mine, I think it was Jeff, who came last week. He was telling me that he was telling someone. He was repeating what I'd said to him a few years ago. So, all right. So I want you all to visualize. Okay, you know what I'm saying, right? We have two rooms. One is black. One is pitch black. No windows, no nothing, just pitch black. And one is filled with light. And they are next to each other. And there's a door between the two rooms, okay? So I want you to apply this when you're thinking about your aura and you're thinking about other people's aura and you're thinking about other people's aura, which also extends several feet. You know, not everyone, but if you're a positive person or an energetic person, negatively or otherwise, you know, you're in a way, you're like an open door. You have to make sure that what's coming at you is good, not negative, right? So you have to make sure that you are that room that's filled with light, okay? And so, okay, now, so we've got these two rooms and they're right next to each other. One is black, filled, there's no light in there at all. It's just dark, dark, dark. And one is filled with light. When you open the door, there's a door between the two rooms. When you open the door, even if you only open the door a little crack, just a little bit, what happens? And you can see what happens immediately because light always overcomes dark. As soon as you open that door, even a little crack, the light starts to penetrate the dark. Dark does not penetrate light. It can't do it. It's just not possible because this bright, bright light is so bright, it's going to just get rid of all that darkness. It's going to get rid of all that negativity, let's say. So when you're going out and about, and try and remember this because I think it's good that you're very aware of other people's negativity. But now what do you do about it if it's coming at you or you're rubbing shoulders with it, right? Or your aura is mingling with their aura. What do? You have to make sure that your aura, your energy field, is as bright and as light as possible so that anything negative, anything that's dark, that sort of tries to intrude, it can't intrude because it can't. It's light combats dark every single time. And when you think about that in every way in our lives, you know, you have someone who comes to you and they're depressed, they're miserable, they come and visit with you. If you're not careful, they leave. You were feeling great before they came, and when they leave, you're feeling all washed out and oh my goodness. And because you've allowed that darkness, you've allowed that energy to wash over you and to affect you, and it will. Then, of course, we have those people you're maybe not feeling 100%, and somebody comes and they are filled with light and positive energy, and you feel so good. When they leave, you feel so much better because you've had great conversation, you've had a good time with them because their aura, their energy field has affected you. So light always combats dark. Remember that. You cannot visualize those two rooms again. You've got one that is dark, no light whatsoever, and you've got one that is bright light. When you open the door between the two rooms, there is no contest. And the wider you open the door, the more you determine that the darkness is gone. It will disappear. It won't be there. So as you're building your aura, and next week, as we talk about painting the aura and the colors that we need to use to try and infuse positive energy and good energy, as we're painting our aura, which I'll show you how to do, it's we just remember these things. We have to remember that light always overcomes dark. So, all right. So next question, next comment or question, Chris.
Barbara's on saying, I talk to my husband often, many times a day, and ask him to be near. Family tell me to stop, that I am keeping him earthbound and
No,
hindering his progress. Is this true? Are there
Barbara,
any messages from him?
Barbara, it is not true. Uh, you know, the first time I ever saw an angel, I was talking to a lady in America. I was in England at the time. I was talking to a lady in California, as it happened, and people would say to me before this experience, people would say, "Do you believe? What do you think, Rosemary? Are there such things as angels?" And that, and I would say, "Well, I've never actually seen an angel, so I'm not an expert. I can't say yes, I can't say no." So here we are, and this fabulous angel. If you want to read the story, you have to. I don't remember which book it's in now, but it's in one of my books. Why don't you just read them all? But you'll find the angel story somewhere in there. And I can remember I did the consultation with this woman. As I say, I was in England, she was in California, and it was she thought it was, I thought it was an amazing consult, and she thought it was an amazing consult too. And finally, she said to me, Rosemary, and this was before I saw her angel. She said to me, Rosemary, I just would like to know the name of my angel. So obviously she believed in angels, and she believed she had an angel. And I'm thinking, oh no, not that question, because I don't know if there are angels. And I didn't, oh no. And as I'm thinking to myself, no, I saw this lady in my little study. She's smiling at me, and she said hello, and she told me her name. And I said to my client on the phone, look, I'm not really sure about angels, but I do have a lady here, and let's say I think her name was Mary. Let's say she's told me her name was Mary, and I thought she was just a relative or someone anyway. But the rest of the story is irrelevant to this morning. But as the angel, things happened, and I realized that this woman was in fact an angel, because angels come in many shapes and sizes, let me tell you, and I've seen many angels since that particular time. But I remember the angel saying, joy, oh greatest of joys, that she should finally ask for me. I've had so many people in the spirit world who've been so grateful and so pleased to be given an opportunity to talk to us. They're given that opportunity either through coming to see someone like me for a consultation, or just by being able to talk to their loved ones, and their loved ones talking to them, because they're still a part of our lives. Your husband is still a part of your life. Don't let anybody tell you differently there. I would advise, though, okay, it's all very well talking, but I would like to think that you take the time to listen too. Sometimes we talk and we talk and we talk. Now, this happens not just with our loved ones in the spirit world. This will happen with our loved ones here on this earth too. Sometimes we talk at people rather than talking to them, and we forget to listen. We're so busy talking about what we want to talk about that we forget to listen. So you must talk to your husband as often as you want. It will not affect his progress. I actually believe he's waiting for you anyway. So, and I think you have a great relationship, and I can hear somebody chuckling in the background. So I'm going to assume that's your husband chuckling about this. But don't forget, all right, it's all very well talking, but don't talk at someone. Talk to them and then wait, give them time to answer. Sometimes their answer comes in a, you might see, if you're focusing, you might hear something, you might hear a whisper, you might just feel someone stroking your face, tickling your hair, you might see, I don't know, in any way. Don't necessarily expect them to answer you with words necessarily, because their thoughts and signs are important to you as well. So listen in every way you can. There's my rainbow song right there. Listen with your eyes. Listen with your eyes and sing everything you see. You can sing a rainbow. You better learn that song, everybody, for next week, because when we are painting our auras, we are going to be singing a rainbow, singing about the energy. Listen with your eyes. How does that mean exactly? You can listen with your eyes. Sing everything you see. Sing everything you hear. In other words, express. So as you're talking to your husband and then listening to him, and if you see something, if you might see a shadow or a movement, or you might feel someone stroking your hair, whatever it is you're feeling, every one of your senses should be attuned. And that's what these exercises, these Thursday morning exercises that we're going to be doing from time to time, that's what this is all about, trying to get you all tuned in to raise your level of consciousness. So talk to your husband as often as you want, but please remember to listen. Chris.
Roxana is saying, I have some questions about auras precisely. I've heard objects all have auras. Is
No,
that true?
no, no. Okay. If you wear a piece of jewelry and you wear it often, or if you wear even a piece of clothing in it and you wear it often, it can absorb your energy. It doesn't have energy of its own. It's an inanimate object. It's just a bit of gold on your finger. It doesn't have energy, but it's a difficult one, this, because you often can feel energy coming from the earth. You can, if you're on a mountain, you can feel energy. If you're in a particular, if you're in a particular spot, you can feel energy coming from the ground. It's so, but an object, a particular object, will absorb your energy, or will absorb the energy of the person that has been wearing it, for a long time. So it'll be your energy that has infused into the object. The object itself does not have an energy or an aura. When you're using psychometry, when you're doing psychometry, and we've talked about this a few weeks ago, we talked about this, you just make sure, if you want to learn how to do psychometry, which again we've talked about, and we will revisit these things, don't worry about it, we will revisit them from time to time. If you are, when you're learning to do psychometry, and I teach my first year students how to do psychometry, what we're doing is we're connecting through an object, we're connecting with the energy of that person who's been wearing it. It's important though, when you're doing it, and especially when you're first learning to do psychometry, you cannot, for instance, a beginner would hold this, you're going to get so confused, because I don't know how old this is. It's got to be well over 150 years old, this little thing here. It's old, it's antique. Lots of people have worn it, lots of people have handled it. I suspect that the person who originally had this, wore it often, so infused with strangers' energy, that's why you're going to get confused. So make sure that if you're doing psychometry, that you use something that is not secondhand, that it is new to that person. Even if that person has had it for 50 years, it's new to them. It was new to them. Okay, Chris.
So the next question is from Andrew, and it's interesting also. When you said early on in the show that if people didn't participate, that you would drop off,
Yeah.
a few different people said, "Boy, we could be here all day."
Okay.
I laughed at that. So Andrew has sent in a number of questions, and this is his first one.
Go.
I am curious. I allocate quiet time to listen, etc. And to be frank, I can't see what more I could do to develop my spirituality at the moment, giving the starting place of who I am and where I started, a left brained scientist type. I would have thought they would apply a sort of golf handicap rule in the spirit world with a bit of allowance for greenhorns. I'm doing bit by bit to speak, but don't seem to get much response from my guides. Is that because I don't have any?
Okay, Andrew, we've talked about guides. I love it that you think you're a greenhorn. I am sure that your loved ones in the spirit world are fully aware of your shortcomings, are fully aware of your struggles. I think that, rather than trying to connect with guides, find that one love of your life. I know you have that love of your life, and stop worrying about talking to anyone else. Talk to that one love, or maybe two or three people that you know and that you know well, who will be listening to you and will respond. It does take patience, it does take time, but you're going to get more out of that than trying to connect with guides who knows. Um, we're not going to go into guides. I'm not going to do that this morning. We don't have the time. But try and find those people in the spirit world who you know well and who you love, and talk to them. And as I said to the previous question, listen, learn to listen. It doesn't, you don't have to be an experienced spiritual person. You already are a spiritual person having a human experience, and hopefully in a spiritual way. I always add that bit because that's my extra bit that I put to that quote. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, but in a spiritual way, I hope. And that's what you're trying to do. And don't be hard on yourself. So what if you're a greenhorn? You have the ability, we all have the ability to learn, to listen, to raise our level of consciousness. And every time you find that quiet time, that's what you're doing. Stop trying so hard. Put a time limit on it, because I suspect that you don't. Put a time limit on it, and to give yourself a break. Okay, Chris.
Gabriella's asking, can a dog from the other side take a body borrowed from another dog on this side to say hello? I think my dead dog did that. This dog was like a son to me. Can you confirm it?
Okay. Uh, it is possible that dogs, cats, humans, it is possible that, certainly with animals, because they have great communication skills, it's possible for your puppy who has died to influence a new puppy, or new puppy to you, to influence that puppy and to show his personality. So yes, 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 it's possible, sort of. Yes, it is. It's possible. Without going into too much detail. Keep going, Chris.
Leslie's asking, someone I work with is angry and mean towards me. Will that affect my aura?
Absolutely. Don't you sometimes come home from work feeling just, oh no, I'm just so tired of this. I've had enough of this. It is tough when you work with somebody like that. But if you go in there determined to paint your aura as bright and as clear as possible, and if also if it's possible, if that doesn't work, you know, and you'll become a nicer person to her. She or he might not like it because mean, uh, you know, grumpy people don't always like it. I remember being being on a beach, and there's a woman who these two women had parked right in front of us, like you could almost reach out and touch the chair. And one of them was smoking, and the smoke was just coming over. So I went and said hello to them, and then I said to this one lady who was smoking, um, "I hope you don't mind, but could you possibly hold your cigarette the other way, because it's sort of coming right at us here." Now, we were here first. We could have moved. We could. But I thought I'd try the nice approach first. And I remember her looking at me, and you know, and she's in a very sarcastic voice said to me, "Well, aren't you nice?" So some people don't like it if you're nice. I suspect that if you're really, really nice, you've got that aura painted, you're feeling bright, you're feeling good, you're feeling happy. I suspect that she might not like it, but she might respond to you because if you make your aura as strong and as positive as it can be, she cannot affect you, but you can affect her. So she may just change towards you. And if that doesn't work, then just imagine that she's a ghost. Now, I don't personally believe in ghosts, but sometimes we have to just act as if somebody's a ghost in our lives. Just let it flow over you, let it go by. She's a ghost. She can't affect you, she doesn't mean anything to you. You're refusing to allow other people to affect who and what you are. Not easy, but you can do it. Right. Chris.
That goes into the next question from Starlight CC.
But can I just say, I'm loving these questions, and I'm loving that we're getting lots of questions. I'm loving it because we got participation here. Okay, keep going.
Someone who is highly sensitive to everyone's energy, what kind of things can we do to protect our energy?
Well, we're going to talk about it. What I've suggested, first of all, I've made a few suggestions. Look for, go out and do a little bit of aura spotting. Why don't you? Focus on the candle and the candle flame, or the light bulb if you can't be bothered with a candle. Focus on getting your mind to be able to focus on one thing and keep that thing in your mind, because that's going to help next week when we discuss. We'll answer your question hopefully next week, and if not, you can ask it again and remind me, Rosemary, you said blah blah blah, you said you were going to help me, and here I and then you haven't helped me yet. And so you'll have a chance to ask this question next week. We're going to be talking about how to protect ourselves, how to build our aura, how to paint our aura by using visualization, which is why I'm talking about the candle flame or the flower or whatever it is that you would like to focus on, to get to the point where you can keep that image of whatever it is in your mind's eye right there. Mind's eye is that, you know, that some people call it the third eye, the psychic eye, whatever it is is that chakra point right there. And you need to be able to learn to keep an image right there for as long as you can. 10-15 minutes is enough time. Don't go over that. Don't keep trying and trying, because all that'll happen is you'll get frustrated. So 10-15 minutes, and then quit, and then try it again another time at a later time. And we'll talk about painting auras and protecting our aura and making sure that we're able to build our energy as we want it, which hopefully, well, in my world, means positively. It's going to be bright, it's going to be colorful, it's going to be joyful, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be, you know, and we'll talk about more of that next week. Chris.
This one is from Vicky. My child has been gone nearly 10 years. I wear his jackets. Do they still have his energy? Does he see me in his clothes?
Oh yes, well of course he sees you. You know that. Yes, he sees you, and he's probably laughing about the fact that you're wearing his clothes all the time. And do they have his energy? I think that your energy and his energy combine, and I know that he visits you, and he, when our loved ones in the spirit world, when they visit us, they bring their energy with them. So you can don't worry about not, don't think you don't have to wash the thing. Your son's energy is around you all the time. I love the fact that you wear his clothes. I love the fact that you are able to connect in that way with him. And I think he loves that fact too. Chris,
Roxana says, I am going into surgery on April 4th and I am a bit nervous. What
that's
do you recommend me to keep my aura as positive as possible?
I think that's next Tuesday, isn't it? Next Tuesday, I think. Um, All right. Well, first of all, how about this? We'll definitely be sending you healing on that day. What can you do to make that aura as positive as you can? Think about me. Think about me with you, because that is going to happen. Think about Grey Eagle with you and all of his helpers who are with you. I mean, all of that stuff is positive. So, going into something in a positive way, that doesn't mean you can't be nervous, because, of course, we all get nervous. It doesn't mean that you won't have doubts about whether you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. We all have that. That's natural, that's human. But think about this. Every time you get a little bit nervous, think about the rainbow that we're putting around you. How about that? A rainbow filled with color. You know, I bet if you went onto YouTube, you could have, there are lots of different scenes. I noticed the other day, some guy was walking through the woods and hearing all the sounds of the woods, and he took film of it, and it was really, really rather nice. But I'll bet you, if you went onto YouTube, you could put in, I don't know, rainbows around the world. How about that? Put that in there. And I'll bet your house will be filled with rainbows and rainbow colours and brilliant skies and beautiful energy. And, if you do that over the next few days and take that with you, that's really going to help you. Aren't we pleased that, years ago, when we were healers years ago, there's no such thing as YouTube. When I was first began this work, when I first began healing, no such thing as YouTube. It didn't exist then. So, Google rainbows. Go on YouTube, because they'll have fabulous photos and fabulous images of rainbows around the world. And when you look at them, and when you think, if you look at those rainbows and those beautiful rainbows and think that your energy is like that rainbow, it can be as colorful and as beautiful, as gorgeous as those beautiful rainbows that are out there. This is what we're going to be doing next week. And remember, my darling, even though you're going in for surgery, you'll be able to connect. You'll be able to connect. Go on YouTube and you'll find me talking about painting the aura. How about that? I think, Chris, we've got time for one more question, or a couple more questions. We
This
make this.
one's from Dean. Do I have an angel helping me? And what things should we ask of angels?
Oh, I'm sure that angels are God's messengers. They don't listen to us. We can ask anything we want of them. Um, if God says okay, yes, you can get what you want. But if God says no, too bad for you. But I like to think, Dean, and I'm pretty sure you'd like to think this. I think that we here on this earth can help our angels to be more effective if we take our own angel actions, if we help people, if we are, we even just, you can talk to someone on the phone for 10 minutes. It may be the first conversation they've had in a week. You can be their angel. Being an angel for other people helps our angels because it gives them less work to do. So be an angel helper. I know you are, Dean, and that's all that you should be worrying about as far as your angels are concerned. Be an angel helper. Chris, one
All
more,
right, you're right at time, Rosemary.
well, one more question.
One more question. I got to scroll back. It had to do with cleansing items. Is sunshine the best way to cleanse items? I think that was
Ah,
from Roxana.
okay. Cleansing is it's a whole different thing. And it is important to cleanse, but I think that's for another time. So, thank you all for participating. I've had fun. I love it when you participate. I love it when you ask good questions because, you know, we learn so much by other people's questions anyway. So here we are. So before I go, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for watching. Thank you, Chris, for your facilitating. And of course, last but by no means least, thanks to Grey Eagle for his time, his energy, his input into our show. Thank you, all of you. So please, everyone, have a very, very blessed rest of the day. Start working with the visualization, with the aura spotting. Will you try and do that? We are trying to raise our level of consciousness to become more aware, more spiritually aware, and I think it's working personally. Anyway, until I see you all again, please, everyone, have a very blessed rest of the day and have a very blessed weekend, everybody. We shall be back on Saturday morning with our story time. Hopefully, keeping my fingers crossed, no builders coming into the house. So, thank you so much.